Once upon a time, in a soft green valley wrapped between two blue hills, there lived a little fox named Finn. Finn had bright amber fur, white paws that looked as if they had been dipped in milk, and a tail so fluffy that when he curled up to sleep, he looked like a tiny autumn cloud. Finn lived with his mother in a cozy burrow beneath the roots of an old willow tree. Every morning, the valley woke the same way. First came the pale silver mist drifting low over the grass. Then the birds began to sing. Then the sun rose gently over the hills, painting the dew in gold. Finn loved mornings more than anything. He loved the smell of fresh clover. He loved the cool breeze that danced past his whiskers. He loved the sleepy yawns of the rabbits, the cheerful chirping of sparrows, and the warm light that slowly spilled across the valley floor. But more than anything, Finn loved the feeling that morning was bringing something special. One day, as he sat outside the burrow watching the sky turn pink and orange, he whispered, "I wish I could carry the morning to everyone myself." His mother, who was sweeping leaves from the doorway with her tail, smiled. "Carry the morning?" "Yes," said Finn, his eyes shining. "I want to be the one who brings the light, the songs, and the happiness. What if someone wakes up sad and doesn't notice how beautiful the day is? What if someone misses it?" His mother sat beside him. "The morning is already everywhere, little one." Finn shook his head. "Not if someone is too worried to see it." His mother looked at him for a moment, then gently touched his nose with hers. "Then perhaps your job is not to carry the morning," she said. "Perhaps your job is to help others notice it." Finn thought about that all day. He thought about it while nibbling sweet berries near the stream. He thought about it while chasing floating dandelion seeds through the meadow. He even thought about it while helping a family of field mice gather acorns before supper. That night, when the stars twinkled above the willow tree, Finn made a decision. Tomorrow, he would bring the morning to anyone who needed it. He woke before dawn, before even the robins stirred. The valley was quiet and silver with mist. Finn stretched, yawned, and slipped out of the burrow with a little satchel slung across his shoulder. Inside it, he packed what he believed morning should contain: a yellow buttercup for sunshine, a smooth pebble from the brook for calm, a bright blue feather for song, and a tiny jar filled with dewdrops that sparkled like diamonds. "If I can't carry the whole morning," he told himself, "I can at least carry pieces of it." His first stop was the hollow oak, where Mrs. Hedgehog lived with her 3 sleepy hoggles. Usually, they were awake early, rustling about and getting ready for the day, but today the doorway was still shut. Finn knocked softly. After a moment, Mrs. Hedgehog opened the door. Her quills drooped, and there were shadows under her eyes. "Oh, good morning, Finn," she said in a tired voice. "I brought you the morning," Finn announced proudly. Mrs. Hedgehog blinked. "You did." Finn placed the buttercup at her feet. "For sunshine," he said. Then he held up the feather. "For music, then the pebble. For peaceful thoughts. And finally the jar of dew, for sparkle." Mrs. Hedgehog stared for a second, and then she laughed a warm, surprised laugh, like chestnuts rolling in a basket. "Oh, Finn," she said, "that is the loveliest thing anyone has ever brought me." "Does it help?" he asked. She nodded. "It does. One of the Hoggles was awake all night with a sniffly nose, and I forgot to notice the day beginning. But now I think I see it." Finn beamed, his tail puffed with happiness. "Then I'll keep going," he said. Next, he trotted down the fern path to the pond. There he found Bella Duck sitting very still by the reeds. Bella was usually the chattiest creature in the valley, but this morning she looked quiet. "What's wrong?" Finn asked. Bella let out a small sigh. "My ducklings are trying to learn to paddle in a straight line," and they keep bumping into each other. I know it's silly, but I feel like I'm not a very good mother today." Finn opened his satchel, but it was nearly empty now. He had only one dewdrop left, clinging to the inside of the jar. He looked around. The pond reflected the pink sky. Water lilies opened like little cups. Dragonflies hovered over the surface. A chorus of frogs croaked from the far bank. Then Finn had an idea. "Bella," he said, "look." She turned her head. "The pond is practicing too," Finn said. "See how the ripples cross and bump. See how the reeds sway the wrong way before they sway the right way. Even the morning has to wake up slowly." Bella watched the water. She listened to the frogs. She looked at her ducklings, who were indeed bumping into one another, but in such a clumsy and adorable way that one was wearing a lily pad on its head. Bella began to laugh. "Oh dear," she said, "perhaps they are doing just fine." Finn grinned. "I think they are." By the time the sun rose fully over the hills, Finn had visited many of his neighbors. He helped a squirrel find the acorn she had buried and forgotten. He sat with a shy mole who was afraid to come above ground and described the sunrise in careful, beautiful detail. He gathered daisies for an old tortoise who liked to eat breakfast while looking at flowers. Everywhere he went, Finn tried to share the morning. And everywhere he went, he discovered something curious. Sometimes all someone needed was a cheerful hello. Sometimes they needed someone to listen. Sometimes they needed help noticing what was already around them. By noon, Finn was tired but pleased. He had done it. He had carried the morning through the valley, or at least, he thought he had. As he made his way home through the clover field, he heard soft sniffling behind a blackberry bush. Finn stopped. "Hello?" he asked gently. Out from behind the bush stepped a small rabbit with grey ears and trembling paws. It was Ruby, the youngest of the meadow rabbits. "Ruby," said Finn, "why are you crying?" Ruby looked down. "I lost my way this morning." Finn's ears perked. "But your family burrow is just at the edge of the meadow." "I know," Ruby said, "but I wandered too far chasing butterflies. Then the fog came, and everything looked different. I tried to be brave, but I got scared, and now I missed the whole morning." Finn looked at the sky. The golden brightness of morning had already become afternoon blue. For the first time that day, his heart sank. He had tried so hard to bring the morning to everyone, but Ruby had missed it completely. "I'm sorry," Finn said quietly. "I brought buttercups and dew and feathers to others, but I don't have any left." Ruby wiped her eyes. "That's okay." But Finn didn't think it was okay. He sat beside her, thinking very hard. Then a breeze rustled through the blackberry leaves. It carried the scent of wild mint and warm grass. Above them, the clouds drifted like slow sheep across the sky. Finn suddenly remembered what his mother had said. "Perhaps your job is not to carry the morning. Perhaps your job is to help others notice it." He stood up and smiled. "Come with me," he said. He led Ruby to the top of a little hill where the whole valley stretched wide before them. The stream flashed like a ribbon of silver. Butterflies floated over the flowers. Bees hummed sleepily. In the distance, the willow tree swayed, and the pond gleamed like polished glass. "But morning is over," Ruby said softly. "Yes," Finn replied, "but look what morning left behind." Ruby blinked. "The flowers opened because of morning," said Finn. "The birds are still singing because of morning. The warm grass, the shiny water, the butterflies, the smell of clover morning touched all of it. You didn't lose it. It just changed into the rest of the day." Ruby looked out over the valley for a long moment. Then she smiled. A small smile at first, then a big one. "It's still beautiful," she whispered. Finn nodded. "Very beautiful." Ruby took a deep breath. "I think I can feel it now." They sat together on the hill for a while, saying nothing, simply watching the world. A lark spiraled high into the sky, singing a bright tumbling song. Ants marched determinedly through the grass. A ladybug landed on Ruby's paw, as if to say hello. When Ruby finally stood, she looked lighter somehow, as if her worry had floated away. "Thank you, Finn," she said. "You didn't just show me the morning. You showed me that I can still find wonder, even when I think I missed something." Finn's chest felt warm and full. It was better than carrying a satchel full of buttercups, better than any plan he had made. That evening, the valley turned honey gold, then orange, then lavender as the sun began to set. Finn returned home to the willow burrow, tired in his paws but glowing in his heart. His mother was outside, arranging mushrooms for supper. "Well," she asked, "did you carry the morning?" Finn sat beside her and looked up at the sky. "I tried," he said, "but I think the morning is too big to carry." His mother smiled knowingly. "And what did you learn instead?" Finn thought of Mrs. Hedgehog's tired face turning cheerful, Bella Duck laughing at her ducklings, the shy mole stepping into the sunlight, and Ruby realizing she had not truly lost the day. "I learned that sometimes people don't need the morning brought to them," he said. "Sometimes they only need someone to gently point and say, 'Look, it's still here.'" His mother wrapped her tail around him. "That is a wise thing to learn." Finn leaned against her, watching the first stars appear. The next morning he woke again before sunrise. But this time he did not fill a satchel. He did not pluck flowers or collect dewdrops. Instead, he simply walked into the valley with bright eyes, open ears, and a kind heart. And wherever he found someone too worried, too busy, or too sad to notice the beauty around them, he would stop and help them see it. Soon everyone in the valley came to know Finn not as the fox who carried the morning, but as the fox who reminded others that light can always be found. And because of that, the valley seemed brighter than ever. The birds sang a little sweeter. The ponds sparkled a little more. The flowers seemed to bloom with extra cheer. And Finn, with his milk-white paws and cloud-like tail, discovered that the most magical thing he could give anyone was not the morning itself, but the gift of noticing it. So, in that gentle valley between the blue hills, mornings continued to come and go, as they always had. But thanks to one small fox with a big, hopeful heart, no one forgot to welcome them. And every now and then, when the mist glowed silver and the first golden rays slipped across the grass, the animals would smile and say to one another, "Look carefully. Morning is here." And somewhere nearby, Finn would be smiling too. The end.